Hello, and welcome to episode 225 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. So good to have you here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe, and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good time. I hope things are going well. We're gonna be hacking on Firefox stuff today, as per usual. Let's get started. I'll start by sharing my screen. One moment. Hey, so this is the agenda. If this is your first time watching the stream, just a heads up, no plan survives breakfast. I kind of know what I want to do today. I have a vague sense of it. I do not necessarily have the solutions planned out. I don't have the solutions planned out in my head, really, of what I'm going to do. I'm not writing pre-written code. We're capturing software development in the raw. That's what live coding is. So things might go wrong. I might get stuck. We might not get anywhere. We might go, get stuck down a rabbit hole reading documentation. Who knows? But that happens because that's software development reality, and that's what we're trying to capture here. So that's the first thing. Second thing, this agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the handout section. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you're watching the recording. I still haven't figured out how to set the description for a live video with the new YouTube Studio playback thing. It sounds simple, but it's really not. And I don't know why I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess I haven't taken the time to really explore it yet, but I haven't figured it out. So hopefully if you're watching the YouTube recording, it'll be in the video description down below. And if you're watching this on Twitch, then let me just drop the agenda in the Twitch chat. Done. Next up, there is an episode guide. I haven't actually, I don't think I've merged things for a while. Let's take a quick peek at the episode guide. So the episode guide is completely viewer driven. It's got until episode 222. And these are episode guides in that they sort of list out the things I work on. They'll have links to the video and the agenda, and they'll have handy sort of breakdown. It'll have a handy breakdown of what the episode was about, links, etc. And because it's viewer driven, that means that you, yes, you, beloved viewer, can contribute. If you are not sure what a GitHub is or a pull request is, then in the agenda you can see a contributing guide, and you can figure out how you can contribute your own addenda, corrections, notes, etc. to the episode guide. The episode guide is a resource for you. It's not for me. It's for you, the viewers. So let's take a quick peek and see if there's anything to merge. I have a feeling there is. I see a pull request here to add episode 223. This is from Smurf D, prolific Smurf D, beloved contributor to the episode guide. Smurf D adds episode 223 that was filmed on August the 5th. That date looks right, and I like to check the links real quick. This is how I review these things effectively. I check the links. Whoops, I don't want to put that in. August 5th, 223, that's the right episode. I'm wearing the same shirt, it looks like, although I got a haircut. Let's see, and we'll look at the agenda. I guess on Wednesdays I tend to wear my blue shirt. Yep, August 5th, 223, that looks right. And let's quickly do a scan for spelling. Pandemic edition, try out the VPN. Yeah, this Yuri Wims, that did not work out because unfortunately, I'm trying to remember what happened. Yeah, I mean, scheduling is hard. So we're going to try again soon, but for now it's not happening. And we talked about media syncs, and shout out to Compiler. Or rate this episode link. I guess I should be checking this link too. Rate this episode 223. Let's make sure that is the right form. Yes. Link to Matrix. All of this looks good. Thank you, Smurf D. I'm very pleased with how this episode guide has really kind of worked, and I think mainly because of two contributors, Smurf D and Danny Colin, prolific contributors. Smurf D contributes most of the episode guides. Danny Colin contributed the I think a lot of the infrastructure. He knew how to work Jekyll. The site is powered by Jekyll and stuff, so he knew how to make the site work really, really well and be easy to create these episode guide entries. Okay, what are we doing today? Well, first of all, let me quickly switch back to the agenda because I think I had a couple of other things to say. Yes, this is Pandemic Edition. For months now, I've been in my basement. I still am in my basement. I haven't been leaving my basement, just so we're clear. I haven't been just living down here, but I've been working down here, and that means I'm on my home Wi-Fi. things like I might drop frames. I've already dropped 9 frames. I hope my home Wi-Fi holds out. If suddenly it stops sending like data to Twitch or YouTube, just let me know. I'll do my best to correct it. But home Wi-Fi, doing my best. There's no episode next week. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. Due to conflicting schedule things, I cannot stream next week. So there is no episode next week. I apologize. And finally, before this episode's over, I want to do a Nate Alexander rap. I promised him a rap last time I talked to him. Nate Alexander, engineer at Mozilla, may or may not be watching this stream right now or a recording of it. And so I said I'd do a rap for him. So we'll see how that goes. But not right now. I'll do that towards the end. So what are we working on today? We are going to work on, there's no bug for this yet. I probably should file a bug, but I want to add icons to the system tray on Windows when sharing devices over WebRTC. So you may be already familiar with the work we've been doing over the past few weeks where we introduced a new indicator. It kind of looks like this. Whenever you're sharing like devices, you're sharing your screen or something, and then like we added these mute toggles and whatnot. Those mute toggles, it turns out, they're in Nightly right now. You can actually use them if you're using Nightly and you share your camera or your microphone. You can just do a full global mute on your camera and your microphone, which is quite nice. However, one of the things we're not happy about is that many sites don't listen to the state change whenever the track goes from like unmuted, enabled, to muted. And that's something that they should be able to pay attention to. We fire a muted event as part of the WebRTC spec, but a lot of sites don't pay attention to it. And so the UI doesn't actually give user feedback. So for example, let's pretend this is a Google Meet call. It kind of looks like one. And suppose I hit like the microphone mute toggle here. I would expect, ideally, that this icon here would also show that the microphone was muted. That would be ideal. And it's possible because we fire the muted event. So the site should be able to know and reflect that in the UI. But because that doesn't happen. Oh, the dog's here. Hello, doggo. He's just snuffling around. I'm sure he'll be fine. We have this conflict between like the microphone being muted here, the microphone not being muted here, and we're worried about it being a little bit confusing. It would be ideal if they were in sync. So for now, we're just going to hold those global mutes back. We're hopefully going to have them just stick to Nightly or be behind an experimental flag. And instead, what we want to do is just ship this part where you're, we're making it clear that you're sharing a screen, a display. But what we want to do is make it clearer. How do I say this? We don't want to show the camera and the microphone icons in the indicator anymore, but we do want to make sure that the user knows that they're sharing their camera and their microphone. And we do this on Mac OS actually right now by putting an item in the global menu bar. Like if I go to talkie.io and I start a chat and I allow the camera or something, a camera icon just got added up here to let the user know, hey, you are sharing, you're sharing stuff. Oh, and look what just happened to my head. Bizarre OBS bug. This is very strange. But we want a similar thing on Windows and Linux. Let me just quickly refresh the camera device because this looks really strange. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. OBS bug. So what we want to do is we want to add items to the system tray on Windows and Linux. And so I'm going to reuse the same interface that we use for adding an item to the system tray on Mac OS and just implement it for Windows. And I've actually got a good chunk of that done. Oh, Danny Colin asks, stream and work from home. Mike, when was the last time you saw the sun? I've been outside. I actually took some holiday a couple of weeks ago. And I got to walk around in some trails and see some nature, which was very nice. It was very sunny. And the weather was good. So I am getting out. I'm not just hanging out in my basement. How's the doggo doing? Oh man, I should have doggo cam here. I don't know if you can see him. That black mass. Can you see that black mass down here? That's the doggo. That you can. Those are his arms stretching out. Left arm, right arm. That dog is just hanging out behind the green screen. Hello, doggo. All right, so adding those things to the system tray on Windows. Now, this is not a thing I've ever done before, but there's some prior art. I mean, clearly there are applications that already do this. There's documentation from the Microsoft documentation site MSDN, or I think it's also sometimes called MDN, which is really confusing, but I think most people refer to it as MSDN. And so this is the documentation I found about adding an item to the tray, the system tray, or what used to be called the system tray, because apparently it's called the notification area now. Smurf D says dog arm equals leg. Maybe, I guess it depends if the dog is standing up. If the dog is, are they all 4 arms, or are they all 4 legs, or the front 2 arms and the back 2 legs? I don't know. Maybe what I was doing, I was anthropomorphizing the dog too much. I was projecting bipedal sort of bias on him. You're right. He's a quadruped, 4 legs, 4 arms. That's what they're called, 4 arms, right? I have no idea. So anyways, it's called the notification area now, which is all right, fine. On Windows 10, I guess it's become more complex. There's this thing that slides out from the right, and you can add things. Dr. Goldfire, I don't know if I should reveal your real name, Dr. Goldfire. I'll just use your Twitch name. Dr. Goldfire says, technically, it was always called the notification areas. Certain Microsoft people get salty about this. Oh, snap. Drama. Oh, okay. So Dr. Goldfire is Molly. Molly Howell, who might end up actually reviewing the patch that I'm writing. So, I'm glad you're watching, Molly, so you can see me kind of like stumble through this. So apparently there's some drama about whether or not, like, calling it the system tray. Maybe that's a name that got surfaced by like just users, and then Microsoft's all kind of salty about it. Who knows? Anyways, let's see where I am right now. I've just switched desktops to my Windows machine that's in the Mozilla Toronto office. So right away, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a little dicey for lag. So I'm using a remote desktop into my Windows machine, and so there's like a little bit of latency. It's not going to be as smooth. But I do this because my virtual machine that I run on my Mac OS machine is not powerful enough to do opt builds. Like, the whole thing just kind of locks up if I try and do an opt build. I really should update my virtual machine. But in the meantime, I remote desktop into my machine at work. And what I've got here is an implementation of the interface, which is called, I'll start there at the interface, NSI System Status Bar. And the way it works is, and I need to update the documentation because it's very Mac OS specific, the documentation. But what you do is you get an instance of this service, because it's a service, and then you call add item on it, and you pass in a DOM element. And in this case, what it's expecting is a Zool menu. And a Zool menu is like one of these. You can, like on Firefox, for example, if I were to switch to Firefox on this Windows machine, let me boot it up. I heard there were deep Windows 32 shenanigans happening. Yes. So this might not be deep shenanigans for you, Molly, because you're like very well versed in Windows. For me, these are deep shenanigans because I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing wacky things with window handles. I'm creating a new kind of window class and like stuff that maybe other people are used to if they're more used to programming on Windows. I periodically dive into the Win32 stuff, but I always feel like I'm a noob every time. So there you go. So you can think in Zool terms that each one of these entries that I'm highlighting is a menu. And the thing that pops up when you click, this is a menu pop-up, and the individual items are called menu items. So just a reminder, that's a menu. This is a menu pop-up. These are menu items, and that's how they're and that's how they're organized in the DOM. You have like a menu node, and then you have the menu pop-up that's a child of it, and then you have menu items as children of the menu pop-up. And so what you're supposed to do with this interface is construct one of those things, a menu, and then a menu pop-up underneath it, and then the menu items for the devices being shared, or rather the sites that are sharing devices. And then you add the menu to the system status bar. And so what that will do is we'll find what we're supposed to do anyways, and what's done on macOS is we find a relevant icon for that menu. We don't use the text. If we use the text, it'll be for like the tooltip. But we'll get the icon. We'll put it in the status bar on macOS and in the system tray on Windows. And then when you click on that icon, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the menu pop-up. And that allows us to reuse a lot of the code that we already used for macOS. So all we need to do in scare quotes is implement the stuff that adds an icon into the system tray, like implement these functions, and then we need to make it so that when you click on the icon, we open the menu pop-up. And at that point, Gecko takes over, because once the menu pop-up is open, clicking on the individual items is something that I think Gecko will take care of. That's the theory. I haven't actually proven this out yet, but here's what I've got so far. I've defined a system status bar class under Mozilla widget namespace. Here, let me pump up the font a little bit because it's a little small. And it's implementing the NSI system status bar interface. And, this is some XPCOM boilerplate. And then I want it, it's a service. So I want to make it so that it's there's a quick and easy way to get a singleton. And the reason this isn't necessary if you're doing a service in XPCOM, but I'm doing it this way because one of the things we need to do as part of this whole thing is create a new window type on Windows. And so what I do is whenever I initialize the service is I define a window type called icon window class. And I'm stealing a bunch of this from the Thunderbird code base, because they recently landed code that allows them to minimize to the system tray on Windows. So I started from there. I started looking at the Thunderbird code to see how they work it. And what they do is they register a new type of window, which is something called an icon window class. And then, that's necessary. On Windows, everything is I think associated with a window. Even though we're talking about just an icon, a window has to be associated with it, because I think that's how the hierarchy of application state works, is everything is associated with a window. Even things that don't have any visual component, there will be a window. That's not including things like command line applications, but desktop applications, I think almost all of them require a window. Maybe not the services. I don't know how that works. Anyways, when we initialize the service, we define this window, and then right now I'm just leaking memory. I'm just trying to do something really cheap and easy to see if it'll work. Is I create an instance of a status bar entry, and what that's going to do, this is a class that I've developed, I've designed myself. That's going to hold on to the Zool menu, and it's also going to hold on to the structure notify icon data W, which is a structure that that declares the information that's needed for Windows to put the icon in the system tray. Even its name, Windows. That's right. Everything, there's a reason it was called Windows, and it's because I think the basic primitive on Windows for pretty much everything is a window. Don't fact check me on that, because I have no idea if that's true, but that's my impression. So we instantiate this class, a status bar entry class, where we populate the struct. Maybe that's something I could do in actually I don't know if there's a better way of doing that as opposed to doing it in the constructor, but I'm doing it in the constructor right now. And then in the init function, which I've created, because I want to be able to get a result in case anything goes wrong here. That's the thing. In a constructor, it's not. There's no return value. I mean, there is a return value from a constructor. A return value from a constructor is a pointer to the thing you just made. But if you want to tell a caller that something has gone wrong with what you just created, I mean, two things can go wrong. One, you can't allocate the thing you just created because you ran out of memory, or there's not a contiguous region of memory to allocate the thing, in which case you you get a pointer back that's still null pointer, and you're out of memory. And you can either react to that or crash. It's up to you. The other thing that can go wrong is like maybe just creating the window goes wrong. Lots of things can go wrong in here. We can like return a failure to create the window, in which case we want the caller to be able to like react to that. And what we'll do from the perspective of someone who's using the XPCOM interface is we'll throw an exception. But in order to do that, we need to be able to return an NS result. And you can't do that from a constructor. You cannot return an NS result unless you have like an out param, and that's awkward. So instead, I've got like this init method that will be called. And that's a pretty common pattern, at least in Gecko code. All right, so we create the window. I've got my printf here saying what I'm doing because I like to do that. And then we create an instance of the window, the icon window class that we created. And then we take our icon data struct and we set the window handle, that's what HWND tends to stand for, to the window that we just created. And then we set this HIcon member of the struct to, right now, just like the default icon of the application. And then we call into Win32 and say like, hey, add the icon, and also this is the version of the icon struct that we're using, and then we return OK. And I'm going to show you how that works right now. So I'm just going to run the application. And the way like the testing code I've been using, the way it works is all I need to do is instantiate the service, and it will attempt to add an item to the task, the system tray / notification area. So here's my instance of Firefox. I'm going to open up the console. Here's some code that instantiates the system status bar service. So I'm going to press enter. Now pay attention to the bottom right here. Oh, my head's in the way. Sorry, I'm gonna move out of the way. Oh, this is going to be brutal. How do I do this? What am I going to do? You know what I'm going to do? For the remainder of this episode, let me just quickly move myself over here. So hopefully that's not distracting. But because we're talking about the system tray, and everything's misaligned now. There we go. Hopefully that works nicely, and you can see the system tray now over on my left, or your right, my left. I'm going to press enter. Drum roll. I tell Wacky Morning DJ to do a drum roll, but I don't want to switch desktops. So press enter. Boom. See, we got ourselves like a little icon here. So that's good. We've got this thing, and we've got the icon showing up, and that's what we want. So we've got the bare minimum in that we have an icon showing up. Oh, the other thing is that for the window itself, when you declare the window, you also have to declare a static method to a procedure, a window proc, or a callback that will be it will get messages that are dispatched to the window associated with the icon. In this case, events will be like, our messages will be like the user clicked on the icon in the status tray, or they they keyboard focused it or something, and we can handle those things. So right now I've got this static method called window proc, and right now it just prints a string, and that's what I'll do actually. I'll rerun, but I need the console, I just realized. So let me close that. I'm going to open up the console. On Windows, that's what I tend to do. So I use -- console to get the printf, like the printf output goes to here. There's another way you can make it so it shows up in the original shell, but I haven't done that. And then I'm going to say boom, and that creates the window. And now I'm going to click on this little icon. Oh yeah, baby. Woo! So there we go. We're making good progress. So what do I want to do now? Now, like I've shown you what I've got set up so far. What I want to do is I want to make it so that if the status bar entry is destroyed, that we clean up. That's the first thing. We close the window and we clear, we just throw all of the stuff that we instantiate. In this case, the window, we have to destroy it. So that'll be straightforward. Then I want to make it so that whenever we... What do I want to do? I'm going to make status bar entry a linked list element, because whenever you have this like static function, it's not necessarily associated with an individual system status bar or a status bar entry thing. So what you do is you are able to get like the window, the associated window, and there might be a smarter way of getting, like, maybe I can pass it like ourselves as part of the, maybe that's a better way of doing it. Status bar entry. Like getting the status bar entry dispatched as part of the, like, with the window message. Let me just quickly check how that would work. Window proc, and then when you say create window, let me quickly reread the documentation. LP param. Pointer to a value to be passed to the window through the create struct structure pointed to by L param of the WM create message. This message is sent to the created window by this function before it returns. Pointer to a value to be passed to the window through the create struct structure pointed to by the L param. So only on the create message. So that's no good, because I want to be able to associate on any message with the particular status bar entry. Because what I want to be able to do is, you know, I'll have the Zool menu associated with the status bar entry class, and I'm going to call the method on it that allows it to open. Dr. Goldfire, Molly says you might be able to use set window long pointer for this. Ooh, let's see what that is. Set window long pointer. See, this is where my my noobness is showing. Set window long pointer. Let's see what. Whoops. Let's see if we've used that before in Gecko. Looks like yes. Let's see if I can find an instance of it being used. Ooh, something called Windows Message Loop. That sounds handy. So here's an instance of us using set window long pointer. And what does it do? Changes an attribute of the specified window, the function. So it's like maybe you can set a particular member to some arbitrary pointer value. Specified offset in the extra window memory. So index the, so you can choose like all the stuff. Sets the user data associated with the window. This data is intended for use by the application that created the window. Its value is initially 0. So potentially I could use GWLP user data. Yeah, Molly is agreeing with me. Okay, so that might be a way to do it. And then let's see here. That way I don't have to scan, like, iterating a linked list with a maximum of 3 items isn't expensive, but this seems cleaner. I will need to do that anyways for the case where something calls this part of the interface. So whenever something calls remove item, it's passing in the Zool menu again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk that linked list. I'm going to traverse it, find the entry with the same Zool menu, and then just remove it from the linked list and destroy it. And that should close the window that's associated with the icon. So the icon and the system tray will go away, and then I'll drop all its references. And like, that's better than I'm using a linked list rather than an array, because I want something that I can add and remove from willy-nilly without worrying about like compacting the array or something. So a linked list, and like I don't need to worry about this thing getting humongous or anything, because it's only gonna have 3 items. Data structures, big O. Think about your data structures. Okay, so GWLP user data sounds like a really good idea. So instead of walking the linked list, which I haven't even created yet, when processing a message, I'm going to set a pointer on this icon window. All right. This is kind of wacky, this formatting. I basically copied this from the Thunderbird code. Clang format will fix it. So let's see here. I want to use set window long pointer, and what are the arguments? You take a handle of a window, you pass in the flag, and you pass in the value. Okay. I might need to cast the value, but so let's see here. Icon window, that's your handle. And now we need the index. In this case, it's GWLP user data. I think that's just some like global constant I can just refer to. And then I need to pass in this other thing. Let's see whether or not other instances have ever needed to like cast. It'll probably tell me if I need to cast anyways. Aha, someone's casting over here. Long underscore pointer. Oh, that's interesting. These people are actually passing in a function to like a member function. So that you can run like get the window proc. They're like plugging into like a different like message handler function that's associated with an individual instance of a class. Okay. But I think I'm just going to keep what I've got so far, but cast long pointer pointing at self, a pointer to self. I think that's safe. Whoop. And then let's see here. Load the icon, and then we return OK. Now, whenever we process the click, let's see if we can get the set window long pointer. Now, how do we get it out? How do we get it out? We have to get the value out. That looks like how you do it. So I'm going to say like status bar entry star entry equals get the window long pointer, and I'm going to cast it. And if not entry, then like we're done here. Or if entry, rather. Entry on, I'm going to say on command. And I'm going to pass in, or on message, rather. Message WP LP. That's what we'll pass. So we're going to define a new method, a public method called onMessage, and we'll have it return a Boolean. And its arguments are these, effectively. Felix Tacken says, "Are you using Windows in a VM?" No, I'm using Windows in. I'm remote sessioning into a Windows machine in a different location. So my Windows machine is in the Toronto office, in Mozilla Toronto office, and that's because I can't virtualize. At least I haven't built a virtual machine a Windows virtual machine on my MacBook that is powerful enough to do binary builds. So we're gonna have a Boolean status bar entry on message. Clean that up, and then what was I using before? Was like, oh man, I need like, all right, hold the phone. I need the same, I want this oh yeah baby stuff back. So I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to redo. Booyah. Okay, so on message, I think this will work. We'll printf, oh yeah, baby, and then we'll return true. Oh, L result. That's what it wants, an L result. I forgot that's not technically a Boolean, that's an L result. Okay. And that should be LP, not just L. Let's see if this even builds. Just a reminder, my Windows skills only okay. You know, I'm still learning Win32 stuff. Okay, so it did not build. It doesn't like my undeclared identifier, of course, because I just copy pasted that. My bad. So in the callback here, it should be message window. I'm just going to use HWND. I think that's more typical. Oh, by golly, thank you, Molly, for all the help working this stuff. Did you know I can't thank you enough? Hacking around in Win32, I could not do it without you. Hey! Don't quit your day job, Mike. Rapping's not working out. Psych. All right, here we go. That was a freestyle rap. If it wasn't immediately obvious, that was a freestyle rap from Molly Howell. I'll do one from Nick Alexander shortly. Okay, so we've got our icon here. I'm gonna click. Oh yeah! So that's working. That was a great tip from Molly on using the long pointer thing, window long pointer, and set it on GWLP user. So we can that's interesting. On a window, you can stash arbitrary data like an associated class instance. So there we go. Very handy. I think what I want to do next is make it so that we actually clean up properly if we destroy the status bar. That's the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not init that stuff in there. I'm going to do it inside add item as one would expect. I'm going to, let's see here. What I'm going to do, status bar init, and it's like add it to a linked list and hold a reference to it. And then over here in the destructor, what I really want to do is I want to destroy a window. And I'm trying to remember what the incantation is. It's probably just like destroy window. Yeah. Destroy window. Now what's verify? Verify destroy window. I don't know what verify is. Looks like a macro. Search Fox will tell me. Define, verify. Oh, here we go. So if things go wrong and we're in debug mode, we will break. We'll set a breakpoint. Okay. Sounds good to me. So I'll do the same thing. That seems... Unlike, oh, well, let's read the documentation. The destroy window function destroys the specified window. The function sends WM destroy and WM and C destroy messages to the window to deactivate and remove the keyboard focus from it. Function also destroys the Windows menu, flushes the thread message queue, destroys timers, removes clipboard ownership, breaks clipboard viewer chain if the window is at the top of the viewer chain. If the specified window is a parent or owner window, destroy window automatically destroys the associated child or owned windows when it destroys the parent or owner window. The function first destroys child or owned windows, and then it destroys the parent or owner window. Okay, that makes sense. So I think what we want to do is, not only do we want to destroy the window, I guess here's the other thing is, like, if init wasn't called before this thing gets destroyed, this is all gonna like break. So I wonder if we should also be like, do this. And then if not initted for some reason, then we're done. Otherwise, we destroy the window, and we also want to call, I think, nim remove. I think that's what it's called, nim remove. It's possible that just like destroying the window is enough. Nim delete. To remove an icon, do this. When an application is uninstalled, the notification icon still appear in the notification. However, up to 7 days. What? That's crazy. I mean, I have a feeling that just straight closing the window might also remove the icon, but let's just nim delete just in case. Uses the ID originally assigned to the icon when it was added to the notification area. Adds an icon to the status. So when you use nim add, the notify icon data, presumably the structure that we pass in is modified. They poke an ID into the notify icon data. So I can just reuse it. And I'm going to use nim delete with the m icon data. Nim delete. We close the window, and I don't think there's anything else to clean up. And that's whenever this thing's going away. So then it destroys itself. That's all of our stuff. Okay. I think I can get rid of this. And I can get rid of this. And then now comes the time where, like, I'm going to write code to test this by I'm going to say, like, private. Oh, hang on. I need to forward declare this class, I think. Status bar entry, if I want to hold on to it. And then I want in here to be like, hey, you've got a ref pointer to a status bar entry. Now, I want ref counting. I didn't actually add ref counting to the class, and I think I want that. So how do I add ref counting again? There's like helpers for that. Ref counting. I think it's that. I think that's what it does. Let's look if there's any documentation. Use this macro to declare and implement the add, ref, and release methods for a given non-XPCOM class. Yes, that's what I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to declare some ref counting on this stuff. And then apparently you have to pass in the name of yourself. And then do you have, that's declaring it. How do you actually implement it? Ref counting. Is that all you need to do? Oh yeah, it looks like it just does it. So you don't have to like, there's no implementation part. So I think that's all I need to do. And now that class is ref counted. And then inside our header here, I can be like, hey, ref pointer, m status bar entry. This thing initializes as null. And then what I'll do is I'll say m status bar entry equals new status bar entry, and then we'll call a init on it. And then we'll remove if this should destroy it just by setting it null. That should destroy it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some printfs. And then just, I'm gonna do a Lord of the Rings reference. I don't know why it thinks I want this to be four-spaced. Destroy it, Isildur. Why does it think I want it to be four-spaced? Tab width 8? That's probably why. Right? Like if I do... Do I have to like reopen this file to have that manifest? System status bar. What? No, I want it to be... Help me. Help me, anyone. How do I make it so that it thinks I want 2 spaces, not 4? Okay, let's build this thing. Isn't it in Sublime, asks Smurfd? Yeah, maybe that's the Sublime thing. I thought like it would pay attention to these settings at the top of the file. Or that it would infer it based on like the sort of the pattern that's been established in the file. Let me open a different file and see what happens. Like if I do like this. See, this one does 2. Notice it's 2 right there. Here, if like yeah, 2 spaces. That's what I want. 2 space indent. Why does this one? Maybe I'll just copy this. Is it the same thing? Tab space 4 now is tab space 2. That might have done it. So let's see. Come on. Do I have to reopen the file again? Don't do this to me. I'm gonna freaking flip out. All right, so this did not build properly. What happened? Unexpected something after init. Oh yeah, I put a period. No good. Dr. Goldfire, Molly says, the tab width in the status bar was wrong before, but now it's correct, so I don't know. Oh, I think it's aligning with the other parameters in that list there. Oh, so maybe it was, I'm just doing it wrong. So let's see here. If I go like, if foobar. Hey, okay, 2 spaces. That's what I wanted. So it was just because of this. And maybe what I really want to do is pump those in a little bit. I don't know what the correct formatting is actually for the sort of the constructor shortcut thing. All right. Building. Thanks, everyone. Solved my problem. Molly's like, yeah, I just let cloning format figure it out. Yep. Good idea. That's my idea. That's exactly. Time is too precious to worry about formatting. Let the machines deal with it. It's absolutely the case. So now if I do service equals that, and then I go service dot add item null. We got our little icon there, and now I'm going to do remove item, and hopefully that will remove this little icon. I'm going to press enter. Everyone watching, don't crash on me, don't embarrass me. Yay! It removed it. That's good. Destroy a Disildur. Okay, good. So we're making progress here. All right. So ref counting is working. Destroying a Disildur is working. Great. We're doing well. Next up, I want to make it so that these, instead of the status bar entry just being like a single member on this class, I'm going to make it into like a linked list so that we can have multiple of these things. I mean, in theory, you could have like 100 items in the system tray. That's basically, that's pretty user hostile in my opinion, but, you know, we'll stick to 3, one for each device: camera, microphone, and screen. So I used a linked list before. If you were watching last week's stream, you might recall I was working on this this API for user interactions, and that's actually that's come a long ways. Like, you can, if you're interested in knowing how you can use Python to turn YAML into C++, these patches might be interesting to you. I've got a lot of review feedback. I need to fix a bunch of stuff up, but I use a linked list to manage the what I'm calling user telemetry timers that have annotations. Yeah. So let's take a look at the linked list stuff. What did I do? So the first thing is the entries have to implement this this interface. They subclass linked list element, and then it's like a template, and you pass in the name of the class. So that we're going to start there. And that also means we have to bring in this thing called linked list element, I think. Unless it's already heard of it. Oh. Well, I might need to bring it in this file because, like, I don't think it's heard of linked list element. Status bar entry, and for I'm gonna make the final class. I don't expect anything to subclass this. So linked list element. What header is that in? It's just in linked list.h, it looks like. I love SearchFox so much. So much. Linked list.h. So I can just bring in Mozilla /linked list.h. I'm putting these in alphabetical order. So bringing that in. I'm also going to say using Mozilla linked list element, so that way I don't have to put the namespace in there. Right, and then the other part is like the actual list itself is Mozilla : linked list, and then that's something. Oh, I must have put the where did what? Yeah, this I'm gonna put inside the as a private member of the service class. So instead of having this ref pointer, say, hey, now you have this linked list of status bar entries. Now, are those going to be ref counted? Mozilla linked list. Do I have to do like ref pointer? Ref pointer. Yeah, I should do ref pointer. Linked list. Whoop. And we're going to call it M status bar entries. So what we'll do is we'll construct these things. We're going to pass in a element. Now, how do you do this again? You construct it, and how do you add it to the list? It's like new append? No. Add annotation back. MBHR annotation timers. Insert back. So that's what I'm going to do. Timer. How many searches? Smurfy goes, how many searches does SearchFox get a day? Great question. I don't know. We might actually collect metrics on that, but I don't know what those are. It certainly gets a lot from me every workday. It's probably my main tool outside of like my editor. I think I find myself inside of SearchFox more than I find myself inside an editor. That's something I think you'll find. I don't know if this is a hard and fast rule, but I found the more senior I get as a developer, the more I'm reading code and writing Google Docs than writing code. These live hacking sessions is probably where I spend most of my time actually writing code. So I value these live streamings because I get to write code. Molly's like, same, all caps, facts. Yep. Senior developers spending most of our time in Google Docs. Okay, so we construct this thing, and then we're just going to push it back. So I'm going to say M status bar entries. Oh, you know what I should do, actually? I'll do ref pointer status bar entry equals new status bar entry a element, and then I'm going to say M status bar entries dot, what was it, push insert back, and insert back. And I've lost keyboard. What is going on? Sublime is frozen. Well, everyone, we broke Sublime text. It's not responding. I'm going to give it 10 seconds before I kill the process, starting now. Sublime. There once was a band named Sublime. They had a single called No Rain. I'm wondering what Sublime's doing in its brain. I really don't want to kill the process, but I will. What you doing, Sublime? I've always felt like this is really dark. Whenever I kill a process like this, it's like it's really dark. It's like holding a pillow over. It's effectively murder. I mean, it's called kill process for a reason. It's pretty dark. All right, here I'm gonna kill Sublime. We're gonna get back in there now. Great. Now, I don't know why it was freaking out there. Normally Sublime is pretty good, but it didn't do what I needed it to do. We insert it, and then we're going to say entry init. Oh, you know what I should do, actually, is if init fails, we're going to do ns ns result rv equals that, ns ensure success rv. It's a classic pattern. And then if it worked, we're going to add it to the list, and then we're done. Now, removing, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate the list. Oh, a element. Yeah. We're going to iterate the list. This is how you iterate the list. There's a very handy C++ idiom for that. Hello, Elad Difficult. Can I use your real name, Elad Difficult? Is that okay? Is that all right? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Elad says, yeah, that's fine. Completely dox me. Okay, everyone, Elad Difficult. This is one of my closest friends. His name is Doug. I've known this guy since grade school. He wants to know if he can use my real name. Yes, full permission. It's good to have you here, Doug. Good to have you here. Everyone, Doug is great. You should watch Elad Difficult do really difficult speed runs, I think, of old school games. I don't know what you're doing on your channel lately. I know if you're a fan of Crypt of the Necrodancer or any of those like sort of rhythm games, I think there was like the Hyrule version, like the Zelda version. Doug is all about that shit. So check out his channel, subscribe, check him out. He runs a tournament, like what was it, racing, Condor, the Crypt of the Necrodancer speed races. Yeah, Molly likes speed runs. Check it out. Okay, so we're going to say system status bar entry. That's what it's supposed to be. Status bar entry, not system status bar. Status bar entry pointer. So we're going to walk our linked list. We're going to find our entry from our status bar entries. And we're going to check to see whether or not the entries element matches. Now how are we going to do that? We want to expose, like it's a private method. We're going to expose a getter, I guess. Element. What's the right way of doing this? It's like, don't mess with it. Const element, get element. And then I think we can like return menu. I think you can do that. Maybe I'll call it get menu. We all know it's a menu. Why be cagey? Get menu. I think I can do that. Equals a element. Then we're going to remove the item from the list and return early. Return NSOK. So removing the element from the list is as easy as remove from. You say this is a method that's defined on the linked list element class, and you say remove from, and you pass the linked list pointer in. So I'm going to say entry remove from status bar entries. I know it's a bit wild messing around with a linked list while you're iterating it, but we return immediately. And if we can't return it, then we are going to return NS error. I think, is there like not found? NS error not found? Does that exist? Not found. NS error file not found. That's not exactly right. I'm trying to describe what's gone wrong. Maybe NS error unavailable? Where's the list of errors that we can return? Elad Difficult goes, yeah, that's right. Tournament this Saturday. Check it out. How much do you know about WordPress? Oh, Doug is currently neck deep in trying to create a platform on WordPress. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I use WordPress to power my own blog. There's actually people on this, maybe in this chat room, who know more about WordPress than I do. I can refer you, Doug, if you're interested. I know at least one WordPress specialist. I don't think she works pro bono, but she knows what she's doing. So maybe I could refer you. Otherwise, you're trying to create a platform on WordPress. Interesting. If you're at the point where you're like writing PHP, good luck. That is you're in deep. If you're like cobbling together plugins or something like that, that's pretty I think that's reasonably straightforward to like, you can put together some plugins and customize them a little bit with the options. But if you're like inside WordPress itself and trying to manipulate the actual WordPress software, that might be some intense stuff right there. Currently shopping around for some platforms to host our remote learning and e-portfolios. Yeah, just so you know, Doug is in the education sector. He's got students. So let's see, host remote learning and e-portfolios. Can you describe what an e-portfolio is? And while you do that, I'm going to look for an appropriate error. What is an e-portfolio? I'm looking for like NS error. NS error failure. Okay, what is the definition of NS error failure? Okay, base, not initialized. This is the list. Valid pointer, invalid arg, not available. That might be what I want to use. Service not available. Object is immutable. Campus Press, which uses WordPress, is currently our front runner. You can set up class sites for each student and teachers can manage them. Let's check this out. Campus Press. Campus Press, WordPress for education. We bring the best of the web to schools, districts, and universities. Our tools and services power millions of websites, providing web services for schools and universities since 2005. So it sounds like they know what they're doing, and they've got some schools I've heard of in here, including the University of Guelph. CMS solutions. Yeah, you can think of WordPress as like a CMS, a content management system. I guess they've customized it to be like student specific. Like, is there an example? You can do see customer examples. Let's look at Carey Academy. E-portfolios are things students upload their work to for various reasons, in our case, showing and reflecting on their work. Yeah, you have a user structure, super admins and stuff. Yep, that is something that WordPress handles. It's pretty good at it. So like discovery. I guess this is not exactly the same. Like, this example is not really capturing it. Poor Moody Secondary School. So look, we've got like recent posts from people commenting on Vanessa's blog. I guess so. It looks like Vanessa is a student on this website, and Vanessa has their own blog here, and people can comment on it. So that sounds all right. Yeah, we're trying to make a school site more a site for each student. The really tricky part is hard to get into over text. Okay, well, maybe we can chat later. Maybe we can have a phone call or something later, and we can go over this. I don't normally do phone support for just random people in Twitch, but I've known Doug since we were like just little niblets. So that's why. I'm not just going to give out my phone number to people on Twitch. But maybe we can chat about that later. And I don't know how useful I can be. But yeah, since we were 10 years old, little niblets. I've known them for more than half my life. So I'm going to use NS error not available. That's my conclusion. That's like the most appropriate error message. So this should do it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to build. Vinit Kimi asks, hey, Mike, ever gave VS Code a try, or is it just too slow for you working on the Firefox code base? I have tried it. Actually, I think a month or so ago, I was using it as an experiment. Oh, build failure. All right, we'll investigate that in a sec. I was using it because I was doing some like collaborative work with someone who wasn't next to me. And so it allows us to like almost like Google Docs. We can like collaborate in the same editor and we can like pass files around and stuff. So I was hosting, Yuri was the person who was connected, and she was able to like add text, and then I would build locally. And so I used VS Code for that. I prefer Sublime. It does everything I need it to do. I've paid for my license, at least on my Mac machine. I don't know if I've actually paid for it here. Yes, I have. And it does what I need it to do. It's fast. I like the fuzzy search a lot. That's probably the killer feature for me. Doug says, anyways, I'm going to get back to lurking. Always enjoy your streams. Hey, thanks, Doug. I always enjoy your streams too. You know, I like your commentary. Doug does great commentary. You should check out Condor Speedruns this weekend. There's a tournament. Follow his channel. That's just a little plug there. What was I doing? So yes, I have given VS Code a try. We were looking at this build failure, which is because why? So whenever I have a build failure, I scroll right to the top. Well, that's the first problem is that I should, like, I don't know why I'm making it a one-liner. I can do this. This is fine. And let's see what it does now. And then there are like problems with casting. Not allowed by inheritance. Not related by inheritance, so not allowed. Okay, so it says this has to do with my linked list stuff. So let's scroll back up. Remove from. No viable conversion from linked list to linked list widget status bar entry. Linked list ref pointer. Oh, what? Remove from linked list ref pointer to const linked list Mozilla widget status bar entry. So remove from expects not a ref pointer, but the actual underlying pointer, a const pointer. What? Let's see if we can find some examples. Clearly, I can't be the first one to do this. From, it doesn't want a ref pointer. Well, what is idle request callbacks in this case? It's just idle requests. Idle requests is type def to what? What are idle requests? Go to definition. It's a type def of a linked list ref pointer. Right. What's your problem? Ref pointer idle request. Idle request callback. Remove from a request, remove from idle request callbacks. What's your problem? No viable conversion. Candidate constructor not viable. What are you talking about? So it's very upset about this. Okay, well, let's comment that out for now. We'll solve that later. Dr. Goldfire, aka Molly, says, I've tried to use VS Code for Firefox a few times, and the quick file open thing is always too slow for me to stick with it. I do use it for smaller projects, though. That is something I also observe, that the Firefox code base is absolutely gigantic, gigabytes of data, and VS Code kind of chokes on it. I find Sublime Text is pretty good dealing with it. Wow. So still upset. Not related by inheritance. Not allowed. Const ref pointer status bar entry to raw type. Not allowed. Note. Error. Static cast from the ref pointer to raw type, which are not related by inheritance, is not allowed. So it's attempting something in the linked list is trying to cast from. Oh, I know. I think I know. Linked list element. Let's take a quick peek here. Idle request callbacks is an idle requests, which is a yeah, that's right. And then idle request, Mozilla DOM idle request. Let's look at the definition of that. Yeah. So I think I need to say that the linked list element will be a ref pointer. I think that's what it wants. So I can't just say status bar entry. It says ref pointer status bar entry. So silly. All right, let's try it now. Building. I'm going to do all right, here's my freestyle rap for Nick Alexander, who may or may not ever watch this stream. Let me get a backbeat going. Let me find a free backbeat from Poddington Bear on the Free Music Archive. Here we go. I gotta wait until the drums kick in. No, I need drums. Come on. Here we go. Yo. Nick Alexander, how are you doing? Watching this stream? I'm so glad you are on my team. Not directly according to the org chart. That's okay. My name is not Mart. We are working on Firefox. We have the very best internet box. We walk around on the internet. You better bet that we work on stuff that matters to the web. Freestyling's all about not pausing. And it's about just saying stuff off the top of your head. And that kind of rhymes with web, and that's okay. Sometimes I go meta and I talk about rapping while I am rapping. And it's kind of crappy, but that's okay. That's what I do. I hope I'm not boring you. That's my rap for Nick Alexander. I don't mean to pander. There you go. Yo. freemusicarchive.org. All right. So that built successfully. I'm going to put this line back because I have a feeling the error message we were seeing before was because of the same issue we were seeing. So that should work. Oh, of course. So, Doug, I'm going to just admit right out the gate, Twitch has this whole like culture around emojis and stuff that I do not understand. I'm so confused. Like people put these little pictures up and I don't know what they mean. Like that, I think that says neat, but it could also say heat. But I think it says neat and I think it's a mouse. I'm not sure. And then other people have like a little head and or a little face going like, "Whoa," and I don't know what it means. But I assume that these are all positive things. Dr. Goldfire put in a fire emoji. I think that's good. So I'm going to take these as compliments. I'm going to presume I'm not being heckled by images. All right. Let's build. Let's build. All right, we've already built. Let's run. So what I'll do is we're going to service. We're going to say service, add item. I'm going to still pass null. That should still work. We get our little fella here. I'm going to say service, remove item, null. That should remove our little icon from the system tray. And now if I try and remove item again, it should return as error not available. Hey, we're doing really, we're doing some work here. Everything is fine, says Dr. Goldfire. And now I'm seeing an ocean. I think, is that dick butt in the ocean and there's a shark? I can't tell. Or is that something from SpongeBob? Or an egg? I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm reading hieroglyphics. It's from a different language. Okay, but we're in good shape. So now we can we're in pretty decent shape here. What do I want to do next? We've got like 7 minutes left before I think I'm going to end the stream. Yeah, that's that face. I don't know what that means. Is that like a ha 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 face, or is it like a like get off the internet face? I don't know what that means. Knowing Doug, it's probably very nice or very witty. I don't know what it means though, but I'll accept it as a compliment and not heckling, or maybe it's just bizarre nonsense. I don't know. Okay, so what I want to do now is, I don't know if you noticed, but the little icon that shows up down here, it's the little world icon. And the reason that's the little world icon is because I'm using basically this function here to grab the icon of the software that's currently running. I think this is a shortcut for that. It's bizarre nonsense. Okay, good. Good times, good times. So what I want to do instead is I want to be able to pass in a menu that has an icon that's defined from our front end. So using things like CSS, and then our C++ here is going to reach in, grab that icon, load it, and then tell the Windows layer, hey, put this in the status bar instead. That's the next step. I don't know how far I'm going to get in the next 5 minutes. It's probably mostly going to be research. So let's see here. Because I think I found an instance where we do sort of this work. Like, here's how you can create an icon and populate a memory region with a loaded icon. And I don't know if you need to destroy the icon after you've created it. Like, are you responsible for... I guess not. Get the image and then scale the service, convert, pass in the surface data to bitmap, and then after it does it, we delete the bitmap, and then you have a pointer to your icon, create icon indirect. Doesn't tell me if I'm responsible for destroying the icon. Set small icon. Let's see here. H icon. Let's see if anyone ever destroys the icon. Oh, here we go. Destroy icon. Yes. We probably need to destroy the icon when we're done. So that is a thing that we will do in the destructor. So that's a thing. That's useful. Now getting the icon itself from the menu element, we can use the Mac OS code as kind of our inspiration here. So I think I saw this in a function called, or a file called nsmenux. List style, no? Where is it? Icon, micon. Oh, it's in here. Menu item icon x. List style, image. Here we go. So what we do is we get like the content, the element content, and we get the list style image URI. And if we can get that URI, and if we can do that, then we can use graphics, create icon. We can pass in Oh boy. How do you image eye container? No, I want to create an icon from a URI, not from an image container. I guess I have to do it this way. So I'm going to have to like set image from image. Image is container. Let's find another example. Windows UI utils, small icon, set window icon. Cursor for image. How do I create an image eye container from a URI? Is that a thing that our Windows tools let me do? Aha, what? Image from URI. Oh boy, this I do not want to do. Actually, hang on. How does our macOS stuff do it? So it gets the icon URI, and then what does it do? Once it has the icon URI, we pass it into a icon URI. So that's just getting, this function just gets the URI. And then we ask the icon loader service, which is only on Mac OS. Damn it. Shoot. I mean, clearly there is another way of doing this. There's got to be. Icon loader. Icon widget. Widget Windows. Icon path. I need to like convert an icon path to, I presume, an image container or something. As far as I know, so Molly says, as far as I know, whenever we need to give the OS an icon, we add a resource to the exe file for it, like the one you've been using. We add a resource to the exe file for it. I mean, that's one way around it. So that instead of doing, like, what even is this? Load icon IDI application. I don't know. I don't know what this means, Molly. I don't know what this means. But is it that like I can declare somehow in like the definition of the executable a series of icons and then just like get it via this? Is that possible? Like if you right click on our taskbar icon, see all those icons, that's where those come from. So all of these, like open new tab, open new window, new private window. Interesting. Okay. Maybe I should use that then. I guess that'd be the jump list, right? That's the jump list builder icon. How does it work? How does it work? How does it work? How does it work? Get icon location. How does it work, Molly? I don't know. I don't know. This is the next big thing, is getting the icon. The icon. If I can set the icon and have it be a thing that's defined via CSS, then I think all the hard parts are done. You know what I'm going to do before, you know what? Before this stream ends, I'm going to try something. I'm going to make it so that clicking on the taskbar icon, it's going to open the menu, the associated menu. That's what I'm going to try and do. Zool menu element, handle key press, active child opened with key. I need to get the menu pop-up. Zool menu pop-up. It's like open pop-up at screen, I think is what I want. Open pop-up at screen. Zool pop-up element is what it's called. Zool pop-up element. And I'm going to be calling a method called open pop-up at screen. And wow, not a lot of usages out there. Not from native, not from the native code, anyways. Open pop-up. So I think I want to do is I want to find a way of taking the menu element, find the pop-up. How do I do that? Find the menu. Find this menu frame, menu pop-up frame. Find menu with shortcut. Menu pop-up. Do query frame parent. So no, that's not right. It's not going to be the parent. I want the menu pop-up. It's going to be a child. Get menu parent. Get pop-up. So menu frames will have get pop-up. So who calls get pop-up? Do query frame. Can I just do a query frame on an element? Do query frame. What's a frame in this case? Frame is an NSI frame. I need to go from an element to a frame or something. DOM stuff, but I'm in C++ land. It's so strange. Get primary frame. That's probably what I want. Get the primary frame from NSI content. Is this? What is this? NSI content. A element is an SVG element. Oh, come on. Get it. Element. Zilla DOM element. What are you? I did not mean to open doc shell. Zilla DOM element. What are you? Maybe it'd be easier if I did this. So Mozilla DOM element is a fragment or element. I need to be able to get its like frame. Frame? No. Like NSI content? Primary, get primary frame. Oh, maybe it implements something. NSI node. Class element. This is humongous because it's like a really important class for the DOM. Implements fragment or element. Fragment or element. Implements NSI content. Okay. So NSI content, I think now that I know that my element is an NSI content, I need to be able to go from that to get pop-up menu. Get primary frame. I'll do query frame. Flush type frames. Will that work? Maybe. Let's try this. Bizarre. Bizarre. Okay, so instead of saying, oh yeah, baby, what we're going to do is we're going to say, get the primary frame. We're going to get the associated element. That's M menu. We're going to say NS frame menu equals do query frame M menu get primary frame, and then we'll say if no menu, then like we're done here. I'll just say if menu, then get the pop-up. And if the pop-up, then we're going to open the pop-up. Pop-up frame. Open pop-up at screen. Say open pop-up at screen. I'm just going to say 0, 0, false, null. That's what I'll say. Pop-up frame, open pop-up at screen. Well, I'll do 50, 50, 0, null. Is it 0? What was it supposed to be? False? Is context menu, so false. Technically, that's also false, but I'll say false. Not that false. Okay. And we'll say printf opening pop-up. Wish us luck. Printf pop-up opened. Now I expect this to not build. We're going to see if we can. Molly says we have a dedicated thing that writes out ICO files for page favicons. We can hand those off to the jump list API in a roundabout way. Right. These things don't need to be dynamic, at least for my use case. I don't mind them being statically defined icons. But where's the right place to do that? And do we have an example? Unknown type, NS menu frame. Okay, so I need to import some stuff. I think it's NS menu frame.h. Yeah. Scoo-boop boop ba-doo. Windows. Okay, incomplete type. NS menu pop-up frame. So presumably I have to also include that. Quel bizarre. Okay, I have a meeting starting in like 12 minutes. 15-ish minutes. So I gotta go. But I really want to see this work. Oh, I've never heard of null before. That's because in C++ land, it's supposed to be null pointer. Sometimes I get confused going between C++ and JavaScript land. Oh, look at this glitching out. I look like I've got bugs all over me. Look at these. It's like, oh, I'm like a leper, a digital leper. Okay. Never heard of open pop-up at screen. Are you kidding me? NS menu pop-up frame should totally have that. Zool. NS menu Zool. Open pop-up at screen. Zool pop-up element. So wait a second. NS menu pop-up frame. NS box frame. I have to go from the frame to the Zool element. Ugh. Zool pop-up element. How do I get it? Or do I want the Zool pop-up manager to do this for me? Menu pop-up frame. May show pop-up. Pop-up destroyed has context menu. Show pop-up callback. How do I show pop-up? You pass it the pop-up. Okay, show pop-up at screen. That's what I want to do. I don't want to actually use Zool pop-up. I want to probably use Zool pop-up manager. Okay. Okay. Who uses that? Aha! Now we're talking. So I'm gonna get the pop-up manager. Quick, before my meeting. Pop-up manager. And then we're gonna say show pop-up at screen. So we'll pop-up element. How do we? I have to go from pop-up content. Side content. I need the content from. I might be actually okay. Show pop-up at screen. So menu frame, I think, implements content. So PM, open pop-up at screen, show pop-up at screen rather. Show pop-up at screen, show pop-up how you dance. Show pop-up gets a treat. Pop-up frame, 50/50 false null pointer. And we might need to import Zool pop-up manager. Pop-up gets a treat? No, pop-up doesn't get a treat. Pop-up just got a whole pizza. Elad difficult subscribed at tier 1. What does that mean? I don't know if that's good or bad. such a noob. I've been streaming to Twitch for years, and I have no idea what any of that means. Cannot initialize a parameter of type NSI content star with an L value of NS menu pop-up frame. Fuck off. What are you talking about? Pop-up frame. How do I get... Okay. NS menu pop-up frame. How do I... What are you? I am a... NS box frame. What is that? It's an NS container frame. What is that? It is a splittable frame. What's that? It's an NSI frame. NSI frames probably is pretty low level. How do I get... How do I get the content? Frame ID, operator new, content, NSI content. Get content. Get content. That's what I want. Get content. Get content! Yes! It means I've been paid. What? Amazing. Thanks for the money. I hope it goes to the right place. I think I remember setting something up because I think Twitch was bugging me about setting something up, and I think it's possible for me to get paid on Twitch, but I was just trying to get Twitch to stop bugging me. I basically am Mr. Magooing my way through the Twitch scene, so I have no idea what's happening. Once I get $100 in my account, they send me money. Oh, great. So, what? Oh, I'm an affiliate. That's incredible. How much money do I have in my account? I'm guessing less than $100. Like I'll figure out. Oh, each sub gives you $250 a month. What? That's crazy. That is crazy. I had no idea. Okay, so I'm going to pass in a menu pop-up frame. What's a good menu? A menu. I'm going to pass in a menu. What's a good menu to pass in? Browser.xhtml has a menu. With a menu pop-up. Context move tab options. That's what I'm going to pass in. Move tab options. Or close tab options. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make... Whoopsie daisy. I'm going to make sure I've got... that's this thing. Close multiple tabs. So let menu equal document query selector that ID. So we've got our menu here. And now we're going to add the item menu. Service is not defined because I didn't do this part. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Adds the icon. I'm going to click it. Ah, where's the pop-up? No pop-up. Where's the pop-up? Ah! All right, well, that didn't work. But I'm going to cap it here. Thank you so much for watching episode 200 and something of The Joy of Coding. What episode was this? This is episode 225 of The Joy of Coding. I hope you enjoyed that. I have to go. Thank you, all the people in the Twitch chat. Thank you for, all the help. Special shout out to Molly, to Doug, to Smurf D, to that other person who asked a question, Vinkims, and someone else was in there. I don't remember who. Danny Colin's in here. Hattie Zero, so good. Okris, maybe you're watching. I have no idea. Take care, everybody, and we will see you Not next week, but hopefully the week after with The Joy of Coding episode 226. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. That was too quiet. It's too quiet. I'm doing it again. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.